Hi beautiful, welcome to my channel. I am so excited about today's video. I have in my hands the new Makeup by Mario palette. This one has me intrigued ever since it was announced like 2 whole days ago. The sparkles. I feel like the sparkles have to be really good in this palette for the price of it to be justified. This is a $68 palette. Thank goodness that it launched during the VIB sale at Sephora. I was able to get it with a 20% off discount, but honestly, for my first impressions of it, it's a very basic-ish kind of neutral palette. I might totally eat my words later if the shimmers are that good, right? But it is a mostly matte palette, very basic kind of shades, and then it's got some sparkly shades in there, and those shades are the ones that are for sure going to make or break this palette, okay? So like I said, the original price was $68. I got $13.60 taken off because of my 20% off discount, so I ended up buying it for $54.40 plus tax. Much better than paying the $68 for the palette. So if it ends up being good, I would highly recommend you get it during the Sephora sale. This is a limited edition palette, so once it sells out, it will not come back. And let me stop blabbing about it. Let's just go ahead and get started with the video. Hair is up and out of the way. As you can see, I already did my makeup except for my eyeshadow, and here's what the palette's packaging looks like. The regular matte black box that Mario usually puts around his products. It says Makeup by Mario. This palette has only a 12-month shelf life. Only 12 months. Obviously, I have palettes here that I've had for years and I still use. So when it comes to eyeshadow palettes, I feel like the shelf life doesn't really matter to me that much. As long as the eyeshadows are still creamy and they still perform well, I'll still use the palette. Anyways, here's what the exterior of the package looks like. Really nice and white. It just says by Mario, and it's not a cardboard or a plastic. It feels very cold to the touch, so I'm assuming that the packaging is actually metal. And then once you open it, let's open him up. Here are the shades that you get inside. So as you can see, an absolutely stunning color story, I'm not gonna lie, because I am very basic and I love these type of really nice and basic eyeshadow palettes. The shades don't really have names. I'm looking at the names right here in the back, and it just says EE1, EE2, EE3, and so on and so forth all the way to 12. So the palette has 12 eyeshadows. It looks like there's 7 mattes, 4 of this frosty metallic-y toppery type of texture, and then 1 more regular looking shimmer right here. The darkest shade in the palette is this one down here, which is stamped with the Mario logo, and I cannot wait to swatch these. I'm not gonna lie, I had ordered the palette online when it first came out online, and that palette that I ordered arrives later today, which I'll have to return later because I found out that the palette was going to be at my local Sephora today, so I went this morning and picked it up so that I could get this video up as fast as possible. I cannot wait to swatch this one, and I already touched the shimmers in the store because I was just so intrigued, but I can't make up my mind on them. So I don't think I'm going to be able to decide whether this is worth it or not until I put them on my eyelids and I combine them with the mattes and I see what that looks like, because right now I'm still very like hot and cold about it. Anyways, let's go ahead and go for the swatches. I cannot wait. So far the mattes look really creamy, but also maybe a little bit on the powdery side. I think this is the first time ever I'm reviewing a Mario eyeshadow palette on my channel. I think I skipped on reviewing the previous launches because I think the first all matte palette I was on vacation or something and I just couldn't be bothered when I got back. But oh, okay, on camera though, on camera it looks really good. Let's go for the other 2 mattes. As you can see, the mattes are very creamy, really nice and pigmented, all the way to this really pale shade. So this is the first row right here. I look so pale today. I just lowered the light a bit because it was a bit too bright. But I have some natural light coming in, so it changes, so I apologize. When I first started filming, I felt like the light was good, but then it just all of a sudden got very bright in here. Okay, let's go for row number 2. Right here. I love that taupey shade. Okay, so far, actually, now that I'm swatching everything together, I like this. I like this a lot. Not one of the shades have been lackluster. The shimmers are kind of like toppery, shimmery shades, but you guys know that I live for glimmery shades like these. This is the one just regular shimmer that the palette has down here, and I think the other four are going to be this more luxurious, glamorous texture. Okay, last row, and let's go for the swatches. The light constantly changing was driving me insane, so I closed the window. Here are the final swatches. Take a look right here, and I think that these bottom shimmers right here are a different texture and a different formula from these first two that I swatched. These first two I got really excited about because I'm all about that super glamorous, glimmery kind of consistency that these have. But the ones at the bottom, even though they're sparkly, look more so like regular metallic shades. So I'm changing what I said. These are metallic shades, this is a regular shimmer, and these two are the ones that I'm truly excited about, with the rest of the shades being matte. Everything swatched really beautiful, and all of the matte shades were nice and creamy without being too powdery, which I actually really loved. And I think it's going to be really easy to come up with looks with this palette, and that the formulas are probably, hopefully, going to be very user friendly. So let's go ahead and try them on. Starting with my reference number 15 brush, I'm going to grab EE1, and I'm going to use it kind of as a base for my crease color, just back and forth, swiping it all over the crease of my eye, back and forth down here. And then with the same number 15 brush, I'm dying to use the taupey shade, so I'm going to grab it and I'm going to start building up my crease with it. Also stamping it back here on the outer corner and blending it in. Loving the way this taupey shade looks. And I'm going to do a different look on this eye just to try different color combinations. So let's keep going with this one. I'm going to grab EE4 up here with the reference number 1. And these shades are a little bit powderier than I would like. However, I don't seem to have any fallout issues yet with them, so that's a good sign. So I'm going to stamp it on the outer third of the eyelid and then blend it into the crease ever so slightly with the tip of my reference number 1 brush. This brown shade is really richly pigmented, and I'm loving how easily it blended into everything else I had on my eyelids. Reference number 14 and the shade, I'm going to call it the shade Mario, down here, EE12, and I'm going to intensify the outer corner of my eye even more, just to see how dark we can go with this Mario palette. I'm not going to create an all matte look because the main thing I want to try are these sparkles and the metallic shades, but you could create some really bomb matte looks with this palette, that's for sure. Okay, I'm going to grab this metallic shade right here with my finger, and I just want to pat it from the center of the eye out into my outer corner. So I'm just tapping it there with my finger. And this is one of the more metallic shades from the palette, but as you can see, it looks really beautiful and very sparkly as well. The good thing about a really beautiful neutral palette like this one is that if you're basic like me and these are the colors you want to reach for all the time, you'll get a ton of use out of it for sure. And with a reference number 2 brush, I'm going into this shade, which I've been dying to use. And I'm going to tap it right in the center of the eyelid, right here. It works just as well with the brush as it did with my fingers, which I love. Why am I falling in love with this palette? What the heck? I just love sparkles like these. I'm weak for the sparkles. Okay, reference number 21, and I'm grabbing the lighter glimmery shade, and I'm going to put it on the inner third of my eyelid. Also with this reference number 21, I can more easily define my fake lid that I'm putting all the way up here. And just take a look at how dreamy these sparkles look. I love. Back with my EE12 and a reference number 3, I'm going to intensify the under eye area, just a third of the way in, right down here. And with my taupey shade and a reference number 13, we're going to smoke it in all the way to the tear duct area and blend right under the eye. Also, now that I've used the shimmers and I've digged a little bit further into the matte, you can see that I do have a little bit of fallout here. So because the shades are very soft, I would definitely recommend that you do your eyes before you do your complexion so that this doesn't happen to you. And with my reference number 21, I'm going to add the lighter shimmery shade to my inner corner. I love that. Okay, let's go for look number 2, reference number 15, and I'm going to use EE3 for my crease. Just back and forth all throughout the crease area here. This one also looks and blends beautifully. And then with that same brush, I'm going into the more pinky matte shade, and I'm going to use it on the inner third of my crease just to have a different color there and to kind of try that shade since I didn't use it anywhere else. There we go. Switching to my reference number 1 brush, I'm using the color EE9, and I'm going to intensify the outer third of my eyelid with it and blend it into my crease. Right back here. With the reference number 2, I'm grabbing the more gold metallic shade down here, and I'm going to put it right in the center of my eyelid. You know what? Now that I did the metallic with my brush and I first did it with my finger, I actually prefer to use a brush for it. Because these are so soft and so pigmented, you don't really need your finger to enhance anything. And of course, the brush will make the application a lot more precise. Back with my reference number 21, I'm going to grab the lightest of the glimmery shades and put it on the inner half of the eyelid. Reference number 14, I'm going to grab a bit of EE12, and I just want to intensify the outer third of my eyelid once again, which I shouldn't have because then this is going to look a lot more like the other eye than I want to, but I just wanted to darken things up a bit. It's still a little bit of a warmer eye look. This is a pretty monochromatic palette though, so you're not going to get a lot of variation when it comes to eye looks. It'll just be a little bit more silver or a little bit more gold, a little bit more taupey or a little bit more warm, but the differences between the eye looks are not going to be huge. For my under eye with the reference number 13, I'm going to grab EE9 and I'm going to smoke it all throughout my under eye area here. And so this slightly warmer look right here is look number 2. Let me just put on some eyeliner and mascara and I'll be right back to give you my final thoughts on this one. I'm back with my eyeliner and the Dark Star mascara, and I'm not going to do lashes today. I'm just feeling the glamorous look with my natural lashes. Anyways, let me tell you my final thoughts on this palette. I was very doubtful about it. Even when I went to Sephora, I touched a couple of the shimmers. I was like, I'm just still not sure. But once I swatched them at home, once I put them on the eyes, and I saw the level of glamorous that these sparkly shades bring to the eye look, I have to admit I've changed my mind about it and I absolutely freaking love it. I was so not sure about this basic looking of a palette at the price point that they're selling it at. However, the sparkles changed my mind. I am weak about the sparkles. I told you guys on my community page I predicted this palette was going to either flop or be amazing. I think it's an amazing palette. I'm just weak when it comes to the glimmery shimmery shadows, and this palette has them. Even the metallic shades down here on their own have incredible sparkles to them, but then these two shades right here, EE2 and EE6, really knocked it out of the park when it comes to this really stunning glamorous type of sparkle that this palette has. And then of course it has all of the nice neutral shades to accompany those sparkles. I've told you guys a couple of cons throughout the video, like the fact that there's a little bit of fallout and that you're not going to be able to get a huge variety of looks with this one. Everything's going to kind of be a different version of what I have on my eyes right now. However, if you, like me, love the glimmery shimmery sparkles, if you, like me, die for a neutral eyeshadow look, I would definitely highly recommend that you get it, especially now that the Sephora sale is going on and you can get it with a discount. Also remember, this is a limited edition, so it's not going to be in his line forever, which is a huge shame. This is the palette that I think should be the main star of his line, and this is the Mario product I have liked the most ever from all of the Mario products I have ever tried. I'm obsessed. I highly recommend. If you're going to go for it, please shop using the link I'm leaving you down below in the description box of this video. I'm just weak when it comes to the sparkly shades and the glamorous looks. And the matte shades, by the way, were so easy to blend, so easy to apply, so easy to build, so easy to get, you know, nice intense looks with them. A 10 out of 10. It's just such a beautiful palette. By the way, if anyone's wondering how these sparkly shades compare to, say, Pat McGrath Astro Blitz shades, I would say in the level of shine they're kind of similar, but the texture is a bit different. These are kind of softer, powderier types of glimmery shades, and the Pat McGrath Astro Blitz shades tend to be a bit more on the buttery, creamy side. One more thing I just wondered to myself that I should have said at the beginning of the video is that this palette is manufactured in the USA and assembled in the Dominican Republic. They killed it. I don't think I've ever tried a USA made palette with this intensity when it comes to the sparkles. It's sparklier than the Patrick Ta shadows for sure. So that's another kind of point of reference right there. But the matte shades, I would say, are very similar to the formula of the mattes from Patrick Ta. But the sparkles are for sure better in this one. I love the palette. If you guys like this video, don't forget to please give it a thumbs up. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. Is it still too boring of a palette for you? I totally understand. If you're a colorful person, don't go for this one because it's just glamorous neutral looks what you'll get with it. But I love this type of look of myself, so I am totally here for it. I feel like this outro was all over the place, but I'm just so excited about this palette. Don't forget to please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I love you guys so much. Thank you for watching. I don't want to take this off. I will just have uneven eyes for the rest of the day. And I cannot wait to see you in the next video. Bye-bye.